Hello everyone, TLSG here. Today we are featuring a Kraven Movement deck. And this deck is still around, it's still very strong. It did drop off a little bit with the nerfs to Captain Marvel, Legion, and the introduction of cards like Goliath and Loki, but it's still very strong. According to Untapped, it is still one of the top performers in both Ranked and in Conquest, and there are several ways that you can build it if you don't have certain cards. So for any of these slots that you see a Jeff, you could run a Nightcrawler or a Polaris, and I'm going to show you a couple of different versions. So the one that we're running today is going to be an Goliath wave arrow kind of counter suppression style deck. The Goliath can come in absolutely handy, especially if you end up using wave and you have enough tempo in the other lanes to continue to carry over your value. You could do something more like a traditional Craven Silk movement, which is going to be on the screen now. It has the Kitty Pryde, it has the Angela, the Jeff, or the Polaris. It has the Captain Marvel, the Chavez for that consistency driver. Still a very strong deck. You can surprise the opponent. You can just raw outvalue them in more games than you don't. And against a Galactus, it's putting out enough consistent power. You may struggle against a Loki deck, but then again, you might not because you have access to the Shang-Chi. You have access to your Craven, which may get more benefit. Your Angela has more time over the course of the game to get benefit than what theirs would. And then if that's not up your sleeve, but you do have Silk and you have Goliath, we have a more hybrid that's coming onto the build now. It ends up dropping the Chavez, it drops the Legion for the Doctor Doom, Goliath, and then the wave package. So it also drops the Kitty Pryde in favor of a Nebula, because if you're running the wave, then you definitely want Nebula over Kitty Pryde because you just won't be able to utilize Kitty Pryde in most cases. And that should give you a couple of different build options. And Goliath is actually really strong in this Craven style movement build because a lot of times you're going to outvalue your opponent early, and so then you can leverage that into a late game Goliath so that they can't swing the game back in their favor in any way, shape, or form. And so we're going to be jumping over into a couple of games, but before we do, I would like to introduce today's video sponsor. I want to say thanks to Dragonair for sponsoring this video. Dragonair is a newly released open world Western fantasy themed game with a robust character creation process and strategic battle system. Dragonair is the second blockbuster product released by Nuverse, who we all know from Marvel Snap. The game just launched globally on September 19th with adaptations for many different regions and local languages. It's currently available on PC through the Epic Game Store, iOS and Android devices, and it's even available for download for my Mac users out there, which means it is adapted to Apple's latest technologies for a more immersive and high-quality experience. And the game will be available through Steam in the future as well. The game incorporates a lot of tabletop mechanics such as dice rolls and character customizations. In Dragonair, players can choose between many different characters and classes, each with customizable abilities to embark on a quest to uncover the secrets of Adynthia while regaining lost memories and power. There's almost 200 heroes with varied traits, elements, alignments, kinsfolks, and classes, and you can craft your dream team of 5 to shape your formations to match your strategies. Heroes have distinct abilities with tactical skill timing for explosive combos. Triumph over your enemies using elemental reactions and the interactive battleground features. It's your adventure, which means your rules. Take on dynamic adventures that feature diverse puzzles, quests, and dice roll checks that will shape the storyline's direction. Experience the thrill of unpredictability with dice-based battles and encounters, infusing excitement and strategy into every choice. Download the game right now using the link in the description to start your epic journey. Ooh, and we draw their Goliath. We might as well use their Goliath. Let's go ahead and go with the Goliath. Unless they have... Oh, wow, the Orca. The Orc is unfortunate. We hit them with their own Goliath, giving us an 8-cube victory. They get a taste of their own medicine using the Galactus. It's very strong. All right, next up we have Grinazor. The first location is Xandar. We do have our Nebula, so we're going to throw that into the right location. The Eternity range, we may not be able to compete for that, depending on what they play this turn. If they play a 1 or 2 cost card, we can always use Polaris to pull it where we think it might be valuable. Ooh, Miniaturized Lab is awfully nice for us here. I'm going to go ahead and lean towards the Polaris. We could have done Angela and it'd probably be fine. Ooh, so they do the Brood and then we're going to yank the Luke Cage over. So this could be a Cerebro 2. It could be a Patriot build of sorts. There's a couple of things that this one could be leaning towards. Let's go with the Spider-Man that's going to pull from here, and it's not going to be able to move anything, but it is going to move itself over into the Eternity range. So then on the last turn, maybe an Goliath. depending on if they're going Cerebro 2 or like what build they're going and what else we draw into, could determine. So the Iron Lad, it's not a Cerebro 2. This is like a Patriot Blue Marvel style build. They do get the Legion with the Iron Lad, the lucky Legion pool. And so all cards everywhere are going to get a +1 bonus. I think we do Angela and then Wave, and then on the last turn we do a Doctor Doom. It's going to help us impact every single lane. Hopefully we can outscale them. I don't know. We'll see if it's possible or not. They do play into Xandar this turn to stop Nebula from scaling. What do they end up throwing over there? The Blue Marvel. They do get the Blue Marvel down. We'll see. We'll see what else is here. So if they have a Doctor Doom, we can outscale them here and here. I think we're okay. No, Patriot wouldn't do it. Yeah, I think we're perfectly fine. Maybe an Ultron? An Ultron somewhere, maybe? Yeah, the Doctor Doom is not going to help them in Xandar, and so our Doombot will swing that location for us. We're going to scale the Xandar location with our Doctor Doom, so we should come up and tie that left location. And so then we win the right lane as well. We win mid, right, tie the left lane. We will absolutely take it. All right, next up we have Steve Ram. The first location is Stark Tower. We have our Nebula in our starting hand. We have our Craven, our Jeff. We have some really good resources. They do have Quinjet, so that is probably going to be a Loki deck, so we have to look out for the Loki play. They do have Loki in hand, so we definitely have to look out for the Loki now. If we had enough cards in our hand, we could potentially get a decent value from Loki. Like if we end up getting Collector plus card generating cards. I don't know that we want to go with that, but it's a possible play. They do have the Collector, unfortunate. The only good thing right now is that they don't have a lot of cards in their hand. So it would only change 4 of their cards, and so it may or may not even give them great resources. We're gonna go Loki. We're gonna send it. The Quinjet, the Kitty Pryde, and the Agent Coulson, all fantastic for us. They don't grab initiative because Kitty Pryde bounces back in. So I think we throw the Cosmo. We go ahead and do Kitty Pryde. That way we can do Agent Coulson over here. And then we throw Quinjet. I'll go ahead and also throw Quinjet over into Stark Tower. I think we're going to stop the Loki play in Asteroid M, because if I'm them, it's going to pull over into that lane anyways. I might as well play it to stop Nebula from scaling. And so the Cosmo comes down. Beautiful pull from the Loki, by the way. They have the Kitty Pryde. They have the Agent Coulson. They have Loki, but they have chosen not to use it so far. Very interesting decision. So I think we're going to go this. Just to make sure that if they go Loki or something similar this turn, it's not going to be huge. We're going to limit them to 1 card on the last turn. I don't know if we can outscale them in Asteroid M. We can give it a shot, though. So they're going to have to choose between... Oh, yeah, the Quinjet's not going to give them good reduction. The Kitty Pryde, not going to be a great reduction either. And so right now we are winning in 2 out of the 3. I don't know that we ever draw something big enough to win Asteroid M, though, unfortunately. I mean, actually, maybe. Unless they got our Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom would send us packing. I think we're going to do the Nimrod into mid. Just in case they go Eliath. Kind of like it. We know we don't have anything just raw, high value, high power. So if we go Nimrod and they go something like Eliath here, great. That's going to send the Nimrod over here. We scale with the Nebula. We should win. If they use it here, then we are going to outscale them over here, so we should be fine. If this is a Doctor Doom, then we still outscale them left and mid. And then we should be able to hold down the victory. Versus the Loki line, we got very fortunate with the Loki drop of our own, and we will gladly take it. We'll take a Loki win anytime we can. All right, next up we have Dio. We did end up dropping 2. One was to a Loki deck, and then the next one was to a Galactus. They ended up using Electro into Bar Sinister on the same turn that the cards shuffled in, and they top decked their Galactus, unfortunately. It is what it is. There's not a lot we can do in some of those scenarios other than just accept it. And so we retreated for 1. I mean, it's fine. In the grand scheme of things, we're not going to be able to beat every hand, every game, every deck, but we can compete against those decks in a lot of cases unless they get good draws. So the Killmonger comes down, takes out our Nebula. The Polaris comes down. Isn't going to have anything to move, unfortunately. Our Nebula is gone. Rest in peace. Sokovia is going to discard their Forge and our Jeff. Okay, not the best discard for us, but not the worst. Dr. Doom or Wave. Actually, that's probably our ideal discard, looking at what we had in hand. So Spider-Man, hopefully going into Nova Roma, is going to give him a decent bump. Getting that +4 immediately with the Spider-Man is just so satisfying. So now we have Wave into Nightcrawler. But I almost think we just do Nightcrawler. Let's do just Nightcrawler. Next turn is going to be Wave. Maybe we end up doing Angela plus Wave. That's the only other card we'd be able to play in unison with it. And they do get a Hulkbuster onto their Deadpool. And then now we do have the Arrow coming down. So let's go ahead and Wave here. And I almost want to snap. Because even if they do a Venom, we can then, unless they have Arnim Zola, we could then use Arrow to pull it over here. I don't know. This is going to be a Venom in mid, right? Okay, so we don't have to worry about the Arnim Zola. I mean, we might, but they have 2 targets to hit, not the Venom. Deathlock's not gonna be great for him. Neither would Winter Soldier. So let's do this, and then I'm actually gonna do this. It's gonna be more power if we move the Nightcrawler over into the Craven lane, but just in case it is an Arnim Zola, just in case it's something that we're not anticipating, I want to have this lane covered from both 6 and 5 from this lane. So we're gonna use the Arrow. It should help us steal away the game, no matter what they ended up dropping. It should be perfectly fine. They have the 12 power Deadpool coming down, but it's not going to be enough. We will grab the 2 cubes. Let's jump over into the next one. First location is New York, which is going to be great if we end up drawing into our Craven. Just a lot of flexibility and rotating cards over there. They have the Mind Stone, so it could be Thanos Destroy, it could be Thanos Control, it could be Galactus Thanos, a lot of things that this could end up being. We're going to go ahead and play Craven into the right lane. I think they probably use Reality Stone in the left lane at some point right now. It's unfortunate. But they are going to shuffle their cards into their deck after this turn. So it's a small bit of a small consolation prize, right? We can do Polaris for the guaranteed pull, or let's do this. Let's do Nightcrawler plus Jeff. That uses more cards, gives us better chances to draw into those better resources. We're going to draw into 1 down instead of being 2 down. They do go 2 cards here, the Jeff, the Soul Stone. It's looking like it's probably the Thanos Control. If I was to guess, that's what I would think is what we're facing up against. So X mentioned Casino, the Black Widow. Unfortunate. Means we're not going to draw here, and then the Omega Red. All right, so we're going to do this, just the Miles Morales. Next turn is going to be Wave, depending on what we draw. They do go Psylocke, so they're going to be going with that ramp component. They can do a 6 cost here, but is it all that valuable? We can do Wave. Let's go ahead and move the Nightcrawler as well. That's going to buff this lane a touch, but not incredibly drastically. Just in case they go with the Professor X. I want to give ourselves the option to maybe move Jeff over if they go Professor X into Nova Roma. They do go Professor X. And so right now it's tied because we have a lead of more than 10 here. And so we move over. That's going to buff the Craven. It's going to buff this one. We use Arrow to pull whatever they play out. So even if they end up getting like a Claw here, I think we'd be okay. I don't know. I'm not going to snap into it, but I think we're okay. Because I think they play into X-Mansion. We yank it out of the X-Mansion location because it could be like a Claw. Maybe it's a Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel could be kind of scary, but we'll see. They move their Jeff over. They do play into the X-Mansion as well. Arrow is going to come in, pull their cards over to the left. What did they end up dropping there? The Thanos. The Thanos is not going to be enough, my friend. We do win X-Mansion. We win Nova Roma. We will take the 2 cubes where we can. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have a Rooster. The first location is the Big House. I'm going to wait and play Angela first, and then we can play our Nightcrawler. We can buff up the Angela. We can do Spider-Man to buff it up and then move a card out. We just get a lot of ways to enable that left lane by having her down early. Now the middle location naturally turns into limbo, so we have to look out for the game extension. They haven't played anything for the first couple turns, so that's also a little bit scary here. I'm going to use Spider-Man. If it's a Galactus deck and they do something... Wow, okay. If it's a Galactus deck and they ended up doing something like an Electro, they would probably do it into the big house. We would have pulled it out of that location. So Spider-Man actually didn't pull the Green Goblin out of the big house, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and go Nebula and Nightcrawler just in case they try to get any cheeky ideas of like a Debris or a Polaris plus a Titania to cap out this left lane. We're not going to have any of that. We're not playing that game today. So the cards come down, the Titania plus the Nebula plus the Viper. They did have those cheeky... I mean, I understand. They had the cheeky thoughts, but we did stop it from happening. So I'm going to use Arrow. If they do something like a Sentry and they're looking to use a Carnage into the Wakanda Embassy lane, we're going to pull the Sentry over, and then they'll have to destroy them themselves, and so it won't be ideal for sure. Now let's see. Spider-Woman. Okay, not really what we would have wanted, but it's fine. All right, I'm going to do Polaris plus Miles Morales. That's either going to pull the Nebula or the Titania, and that's why we're doing the Polaris into Limbo instead of to the right, because I want it to have a guarantee of pulling something from that left lane. And so now we do get Titania onto our side of the board. The Ghost Spider pulls the Spider-Woman over to the left. Very interesting. And then the Debris comes down. The Black Widow comes down. So much unfortunate just junk coming into play here. With this and this, we stay at 12. But this lane gets higher. Unless they can beat us here, which maybe they can. A big card to bring Titania onto their side of the board? Yeah, probably. Yeah, they probably beat us here by being able to recall the Titania. If not, our Alioth is going to bring it home. It's one of those cards that it's just... when you're ahead, it can just win you the game. I like Alioth in a junk build, so that may be what they were running here was an Alioth. And ours revealed just a touch earlier. So we will take the win, and that is where we're going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like and a comment down below. As always, this has been TLSG. Later, guys.